Good morning. This is a reflection on lesson 291 in A Course in Miracles, and it says, "This is a day of stillness and peace." This is a day of stillness and peace. It is. It's Sunday morning, and I've grown my hair out overnight. Yes. It is so heavy having all this hair. I don't know how people do it, and it's so hot. And I just finished a hot flash. I'm still glistening, and the hair didn't help. So I just thought it'd be fun to leave. I was playing around. I thought it'd be fun to leave this on while I do the video because it's somehow related. So yesterday, my family has like a monthly cooking class or cooking club, we call it. And we get together and cook different things. And then yesterday we also had a sewing tutorial from my great aunt, and she was showing us fun little projects to make. And it inspired me. First of all, I need more supplies to finish my quilt, so I couldn't work on that. But I'm like, what's something quick and easy I can do in one evening? And I looked up how to make, and now that I have no hair, I'm fully the baldest I've ever been in my life, I thought, well, let's figure out how to make beanies. Those have to be easy. Well, I finally found a pattern, and it was this one. And so I made this, and it has an opening because it has like this neat ability to twist. It's basically closed unless you pull a pony through it. And so I thought, well, how fun would it be to pull out my old wigs? I think these are from the time of COVID or pre-COVID, I forget, where we were housebound and having fun with the kids and just having fun. So I bought some wigs, cheap. That's very like not real hair. And here, this is my longest one, and it's so like, I love it. I don't want to grow my hair like this. No, but it's fun to play. So I thought, okay, well, I pull it through here, and I loved the beanie. It worked out great for my head. The opening at the top stays closed and warm, and if I want to throw on a wig, look, I can just go about town being like, new hair, who dis? So anyway, it was fun. What it made me think about was, I'm also listening to a podcast right now about, I think she's a non-binary, I said she, they are a non-binary person. I don't even know what pronouns they prefer, so my bad, I don't know. But they did say they were non-binary. So it's probably not she, her, but who knows. And they were talking about like all the interviewer also is one, it's like a style podcast, but it's really more than style. It's like personal style, not just like fashion blogging, or whatever. They go really deep, and they've been around forever, and they bring people on who like, they have series of people like they'll interview them. I forget what that series was called, where they, as they're interviewing, the interviewee takes off a piece of clothing until they're just kind of in their undergarments or however far they want to go. And it's a very vulnerable thing. They're talking about themselves as they peel off their outer expression of their personality. And so it's really, like I said, it goes deep. It's way beyond fashion. But this interview, they were really talking about today how, like, why do we, when somebody goes against the cultural, politically accepted or correct, or just like culturally accepted norms about what is a woman, what is a man, being very binary and not leaving room for any other expression. And so when they were coming into like their young adulthood and realizing none of this fits. I've played around with my femininity, played around with my masculinity, and none of it fits. So what really fits is none of that. And that's when they just said, oh, they got interviewed by somebody, and they said, so are you a man or a woman? And the person was just like, no. Like the interviewer wanted them to say one or the other because they couldn't tell. And they just said no. And I feel like that a lot of the time. I'm just like, no. So, but I'm also one that's like, I'm 48, and I find that even having labels doesn't mean anything to me. Like, so I'm not going to adopt a label for an absence of binary. You know what I mean? An absence of duality. I'm not going to then put a flag in something and say, this is what I am, when I'm in this whole process of undoing. So for me, it's more about what this lesson was about. And again, the synchronicity with all of this and this whole like, today is just peace. There's not like, I'm not going to, I guess, just do, what was the title of this lesson? Like, today's a day of peace. Hold on. I was talking to my husband because he's getting ready to go play disc golf. So, which is starting to be a very beautiful morning out there. You could probably see the sun coming in. So what I was thinking about with this lesson of just coming into peace is just everyone should just be at peace with who they are. And it reminded me like I was telling in the video yesterday how Friday night I got a chance to spend time with like all my friends and acquaintances and people I hadn't seen in so long, and how I just had spent so much time with them over the last few years while I was a bartender. I went to that bar and like it was like cheers, like coming back and just being with them and enjoying our time. And it was a weenie roast, so they do an annual weenie roast, so it was like got to sit out in a flannel and another beanie and just have a draft and talk and laugh and hug and all the things. There was one interaction with a woman who I know, and she's older, and she's very like, how some people are just like, it doesn't matter old age either, that is not it, but she is older than me and I really respect her. She's like very mother, like a mother figure for people, and she but is very rigid with her opinions and views, like very strict, like about what she believes, and I value that too. I think you do you. It's fun to come up against that, to be confronted with that from somebody who has like no strong opinions. As soon as and I've always been this way, as soon as I have an opinion, something challenges me to change it into a non-opinion, to see the both and I love that. So when we come up, we just talk about other things, not like, but I had a beanie on that night, Friday night, and I walk up to her, so you couldn't really tell how bald I was. And she's known me to have short hair, like even buzzed, like really short. But to be bald must have been a step too far for her. She, like, the guys were teasing me, like, oh, your hair's shorter than mine now. And then she's like, what do you mean? Like, she looked at me and she's like, what do they mean? And I lifted it up and you could see just like baldness. It was just baby soft baldness. And I have a hair here. See, I don't know how people do all this long hair. It's like walking through the spider webs again. It's like, so she like recoiled in horror. It was like, wah. And she's like, oh no, you gotta grow it back. I liked your short hair. You gotta at least do that. Like, she was so adamant. And I'm like, it sparked some weird fear. And I've gotten that from actually several other people since I've taken it way down. They're just like, why? Even like before it was way down, even strangers like the TSA agent or the customs agent was just like, why? And he doesn't even know me. And the hair in my passport isn't that long. So it's like, he's only knows like one version of me from like 2017. One image of me. So I think about this expression of what makes you comfortable. And I've never been more comfortable in my skin and hair and face and everything than I am right now at age 48, when by all cultural standards of beauty, I am well past my peak. I was thinking, like, when did I peak in like the standards of cultural acceptability of beauty, right? Like, that is like the pinnacle of what you could be. You know, it's so silly to even talk like that, but that's the culture we grew up in. And I was thinking, well, it was certainly had to be well into my, like in my 20s. And here I am, like over 25 years later from that moment. And I'm chunkier, I'm squishier, I'm wrinklier, I'm way balder. And I don't wear makeup. I did just discover clear mascara to nourish your hair. And then I'm playing with that because it's like, what even, it's even fun just like going bald here and then saying, oh, but you're special. Let's nourish you so you can be very healthy. little hairs, like picking and choosing what to accentuate and like focus on and take care of and love, and so it's all just so nothing, isn't it? And so when I come up against people, and this has been since my early 20s when I started shaving my head really like buzz cutty, it sparks something in people. I've come up against it my whole adult life. So now when I come up against it, I just laugh. Like it's a compassionate, like, it's okay. I had a dear friend say to me, like, not that long ago when I buzzed it, and he's like, he looked at me and he's like, I liked you better long hair. Not just it, but you. I liked you better with longer hair. And because that sentiment didn't age well, because luckily a lot younger people don't care, and they're not the ones confronting me. It's usually like people like around my age, but some younger ones. That's why I said it's not all age. I'm like, what does it do? And then I was like, in the interview I'm listening to and other interviews I've seen, and then my own feelings, I'm like, when you peel back all the layers of that, and like, I liked you better, and like, you'd be prettier if you had long hair. Like I've had that yelled at me, and all I'm doing is just being me. I'm not even going around saying you need to do this too. Fuck the norms, or what. I'm not. That's not me. And so it's only ever been about, what do I feel like doing today? I won't shave my armpits, but I'll shave my head. Who cares? It has nothing to do with you. And yet other people seem to feel like it has so much to do with them. And then I think, what is that? Because when I look at other people expressing themselves, I don't think, oh God, no, they should not do that. I do not like that one bit. Nope. They looked better the other way. They would look better with a side pony coming out of a beanie. Like, so I'm like, I don't have that in me. So it really makes me curious, like, what is it? So I peel back the layers of it, and then this fear underlies everything. So I'm like, what fear is it? It's like holding up a mirror where maybe, and I've heard this isn't my own idea, like it shows them how they're not living their fullest expression of comfort and self and whatever feels good to them in their body in that moment, because they're holding to like some rigid idea of themselves based on what they think other people perceive they need to be. Just fucking be comfortable. And I got it even from my own family yesterday, like some people saying things, but it was not the horror kind. It was just like probably one of those, oh, here she goes again kind of things, because, but so I was just like, I just told people, I'm like, I'm just in the comfort phase of my life. Like I just think of whatever comes out of my mouth in the moment. Or they'll ask about the hair thing, and I'm just like, I'm just so over hair. I'm just over it. Whatever comes out is really just to appease or placate. Because, like I said, I'm not one to go and be like, why the fuck would you ask me that? Why? I'm not going to be confrontational in return, because what I really understand is that their reaction points to something deeper within themselves. They're not at peace. And that's where I want to bring it back to this lesson of like, what if we could all just be completely at peace with ourselves? Right? What if we all had that in us and we wouldn't go around fear reacting at each other to keep each other in some strict, rigid straitjacket of an idea of personality and expression because it makes us feel safe. If people are stepping into their own power, their own confidence, their own bucking the norms, then, oh my God, everything's going to crumble. I see that out in the political landscape too when I dare to read a headline. It's, I think, all based in fear of like, no. What if it just reflects that I'm not living in my power, in my confidence, in my self-love? And maybe that's the fear, is that it shines a mirror back at myself to say, man, I don't love myself. And I don't want to feel that guilt and shame and I don't want to work on that. So that's what I really think these things come down to, is like the more you live in your power and self-expression, whatever just freaking makes you comfortable in the comfort years of your life. Oh, this is heavy. Can't be shaking my pony around. I don't know how people do it. Then it's like, then that's what it is. It just sparks such a deep compassion in me. I'm not going to confront it with more fear and anger and like defiance and defensiveness of like, they don't accept me for me. I don't care about that anymore. It's more like, oh, I'm sorry. Something's going on where my visage sparked something in you that did not feel good to you. And I'm deeply sorry you feel that whatever you're feeling. And it's okay. It's okay. Can we shine a light on it? Is that okay? What are you feeling? It's like when you get confronted with non-binary people, I love even saying that, confronted by them, their mere existence. They exist. Oh no. I just don't want them shoving it down my throat. We've all heard that, right? I've never once seen a non-binary, trans, LGBTQIA person going around saying, open wide, I'm coming at ya. I'm going to shove it in there. No. People just want to be free to be themselves. Living life, going to the grocery store, going to a freaking sports game. Is that what they're called? Whatever. And just feel nothing. Just to feel what the average American white dude feels. I wonder what that is. I wonder what that's like. Because even being, I'm white, okay. But even like the femaleness, where the podcast was even talking about that, just like when it, like, and I feel it every day, especially now that I'm bald, but every day of my adult life that I've not been look, my hair's long and I'm wearing makeup. You feel good now? I hope so. I'm doing it for you. But I do it for me too. It's fun to play dress up sometimes. But whenever, like, I've felt it my whole life with just being a woman in this culture, and I'd wonder, like, what's it just like to like be a dude going through life? What's it like being an American white dude, with no disabilities or neurodivergence, or what's it like just to be that? And I've wondered that in my life. And you know what? I'm married to one. And we talk about this. I ask him, I'm just like, what's it like? And to him, it kind of like stopped the gears. I could see it in his eyes. Oh, here he is. Okay, he was practicing before. Now he's going out to play disc golf. So I'm glad my husband's patient because I think and talk about these things. Sometimes I want to talk with him, but sometimes it's just at him because I could see his like, oh wait, now he's here. Okay, we had to start our see you later. So now he's going to play the disc golf. So he knows I'll also tell him I'm sorry for challenging you. Thank you for being patient and talking with me because like I don't talk about this stuff with everybody. So I'll just be like, what's it like just being a middle-aged white dude in America in the Midwest? Like, what's that like? And because we only know our own experience, he doesn't know any different, nor should he. But luckily, he's the type that doesn't like judge people, and he doesn't expect people to conform to any certain idea, and he's very open and accepting and like you do you. So but sometimes it's still fun to be like, what's it like? And so that made me think of something else that I thought about with this lesson was how we frame things. And so this whole idea of like, today let there just be peace. And the way that I thought about this whole week, I feel like I've been thinking about how things get framed. Like, what lens are we looking through to describe or explain what we're experiencing, down to even physical pain, or like I'm feeling a sensation. What lens or pair of glasses am I going to put on and look at that then tell me how I'm interpreting that? What filter am I putting between me and the raw experience that helps me interpret things in a way that I can understand and accept? So I think about that with this lesson because the more I just do away with filters, like the letting go of things and getting rid of preconceived ideas and just being with the raw sensation over and over and over, trying to recognize when I'm applying a filter, like the framing of something, the filtering of experience, however you want to call that, where it's like I'm putting something between me and the experience to help me understand it, because the rawness it's just what our mind does. But if I sit with the rawness of a sensation, I don't have to frame it as pain. I really don't. I don't have to frame it as good even or bad, because last night I was laying in bed and I felt my body just felt great once I laid down. Like it felt like beyond great. I was like, whoa, this is next level goodness. And then remembering that I'm trying to not even hold on to that and just let it go. Yet the brain rose up and said, oh, that feels good. But then letting that go and settling back in just to the raw sensation of it, I thought, wait, I feel this more often than I think. And so there's a filtering that my mind wants to do on experience, even like sounds, because I'm kind of sensitive to light and sounds. My husband, he calls me an HSP, highly sensitive person. I'm like, I don't think so, but I got maybe. But so I think about the more I let things fall away, the less HSP I feel. Like it's like being able to be with the sharpness of things without calling it undesirable. And so when I think about this, going back to like, you do you, like, what would it be like if we all could just be at peace? I think it would have a lot to do with taking off our goggles of like, what lens are we seeing the world through that's filtering our experience with preconceived ideas, the shoulds, the expectations, the like, why should we all, like, for example, especially maybe where I live, I don't know, I'm not in a big city anymore. In the big city, like there's more of a you do you. In a small town, there's a little bit less of that. There really is. And so there's male and there's female presentations, expressions. And anything outside of that, it really like seems to throw that wrench in the gears. Like you could see that same thing in their eyes, where it's like and then there's a hardening, there's a constriction, there's a closing down, because and you're like, well, how do you know that? Well, these conversations just come up with me, because I'm with clients and all of that, and people like to make small talk here. The small talk somehow goes a lot of times into bigotry, into judgment about the other. And I think I've said it before in some other video, because I think about this stuff, I think that is a way of trying to bond, to make connection. Well, let's connect because I'm trying to gauge if you agree with me in being a bigot, or, like judging this other sect of people. Right? So it's like, I hear some of the worst things, but then I'm like, Grace, you are 80 years old. You grew up in a different time. They have clients like that. So I'm like, you kind of pick and choose your moments. There's no need to educate in like what's going on these days. Because she stopped herself from saying a certain word and said, There's just stuff like that. And I'm like, actually, no, I don't. I was just like, so, and maybe it's the age I'm in, like young Gen X. I was born in 77. And we're like, I feel like there's a transitional period there, like where we stopped caring about that stuff, but those things were still put on us. So we were imprinted with them. And our generation has tried our whole lives to let that go and buck the norms and all of that. And so we do have every generation has more of a you do you attitude, which I appreciate. So we're getting there, but we can extend grace to the generations that didn't have that, because the imprints are the real. I was talking about that with a client, like protecting our children from being imprinted on, like pre 8 years old. Like it's all imprint. It's like they don't have that formal sense of identity and selfhood yet. So we need the parents protect against that, right? So, oh God, see, hair everywhere already. So it all made me think about, what if we all just stopped imprinting on each other these things that are fear-based and they're meant to control. And the way that things in our culture are designed for control, and then they're put out there into the ether as a way of like, and then the people who do that know that we control each other ourselves. They don't have to do anything but like drop a seed and it grows right between us, and we keep imprinting on each other these fear-based ideals. And it's just, what if we stopped doing that and could all come into that place of peace that this lesson talks about, since I'm trying to make it relatable to the lesson, because otherwise I wouldn't be making this video. So there's just so much peace to just, you do you, right? It's so simple. And yet we feel like to come up against people time and again who don't think that way. But it's like, you can tell by the look in their eyes and the words that they're saying, they don't even realize the way that they are thinking and projecting on other people and perpetuating the bigotry. They don't even label it as bigotry and judgment. It's just how the world should work, and they don't question the why. You can tell that they don't even question why they think the world should, I'll use my one air quote for the day, should be that way. It just should, and it's right, and everybody else is wrong, and you all know it too. It makes me ill. Physically, even just saying all that, there's an illness, there's an unwellness in the population, right? That feels that way or does not even question that, because it's the unexamined within themselves. They haven't examined that in themselves. If we were to confront that in the moment and they actually were willing to, through love, like it would be a loving confrontation, to say, well, why do you feel that way? And just keep saying why. Each word why is the opportunity to peel back another onion layer and get down to like, what's the real root? Do you even believe this? Do you even believe it? And oftentimes I would have to say, I don't think they even truly believe it. It's just a fear-based control mechanism, and they're scared to look underneath that onion layer to see what's really going on under there. Wow. So anyway, today's a day of peace. So I'm going to go take off this. I wanted to actually get a photo. Well, the reason I put it on is to get a photo of this. So, oh God, there's hair. Look at this. Can you see it? It's just falling off. My cat's shed enough. I don't need to add to it. I wanted to get a picture for my family to say, look what you inspired. Because some of them were like, why'd you shave your head? So I'd be like, is this better? I made a beanie with a hole for my high pony. So I'm going to go enjoy this day, and I hope you do too, full of peace and self-love. Bye.